In the year 2145, humanity had advanced in technology and space exploration. Earth had colonies on Mars and the Moon. People lived in harmony, creating a thriving society. However, this peace was about to be shattered. One bright morning, alarms blared across the planet. The sky above Earth turned dark with the shadows of massive alien ships. These ships were unlike anything humans had ever seen. They were enormous, with sharp edges and glowing lights. The news spread quickly, and fear gripped the hearts of people. The world watched in horror as the first images of the alien fleet appeared on their screens. In a secret military base, high-ranking officials gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was filled with tension. General Marks, a tall man with a serious expression, stood at the front. "We are facing an unprecedented threat. This alien fleet has already destroyed several of our outposts on Mars. They are coming for Earth next," he announced. His voice was steady, but everyone could sense the urgency in his words. The officials discussed the aliens. They learned that the invaders were a race called the Calthorians. They were known for their ruthless attacks on weaker civilizations. The Calthorians had conquered many worlds, and they viewed Earth as just another target. Reports indicated that they wanted to enslave humanity, using them as workers for their war machines. Dr. Eva Chen, a brilliant scientist, raised her hand. "We need to understand their technology. If we can learn how their ships operate, we might find a way to fight back." Her suggestion brought a glimmer of hope to the room. The officials nodded, realizing that understanding the enemy was crucial. Meanwhile, the fear among the general population grew. News reports showed scenes of destruction from the Calthorian attacks. Cities were under siege, and people were terrified. They gathered in groups, discussing the news in hushed tones. "What will happen to us?" A woman asked her friend. "Will we be taken away?" In the midst of this chaos, a small group of scientists and engineers began to form a plan. They were determined to use their knowledge to protect humanity. Dr. Chen led the team, gathering the brightest minds from different fields. "We need to focus on our strengths," she said. "We may not have super soldiers, but we have creativity and intelligence. Let's innovate." The team worked day and night. They developed new technologies that could counter the Calthorian threat. They created drones that could fly higher and faster than anything the aliens had. They worked on weapons that could disable the alien ships without causing mass destruction on Earth. The scientists believed that they could defend their planet using clever strategies rather than brute force. As the Calthorian ships descended upon Earth, they sent out a message to the planet. The alien leader, a tall figure with shimmering skin, spoke through a broadcast. "Humanity will submit to us. Resistance is futile. You will serve us or face destruction." His voice was deep and cold, sending shivers down the spines of everyone who heard it. But instead of giving in to fear, humanity rallied together. People organized protests against the invasion. They raised flags, chanting, "We will not be slaves." The courage of ordinary humans inspired the scientists even more. They realized that the entire planet was united in this fight for freedom. Dr. Chen and her team worked tirelessly to finalize their inventions. As the Calthorian ships entered Earth's atmosphere, the scientists prepared for the worst. "This is it," Dr. Chen said, looking at her team. "We may not have soldiers, but we have each other, and we have our ideas. Let's show them what humanity can do." The first wave of Calthorian ships opened fire on major cities. Buildings collapsed, and chaos erupted. But as the aliens celebrated their initial success, humanity struck back. The drones flew into the sky, armed with advanced technology that the Calthorians had never encountered. They zipped through the air, dodging laser beams and firing back at the alien ships. The battle was fierce, and the aliens were caught off guard. They had expected humans to crumble in fear, but instead, they found a planet fighting back with everything it had. Dr. Chen watched from the command center as their drones took down one Calthorian ship after another. The team cheered with each victory. their hope growing stronger. In the midst of the fight, General Marks coordinated the defense strategy. "Focus on their weak points. We can do this," he shouted. His leadership inspired the soldiers, both in the air and on the ground. Humans worked together like a well-oiled machine, using their wits to outsmart the invading force. As night fell, the battle raged on. The lights from the explosions illuminated the sky, a stark contrast to the darkness that had fallen over the city. Humans fought not just for their lives, but for their freedom and the future of their planet. The Kalthorians were beginning to realize that humanity was not what they had expected. Instead of a weak species, they found a determined race ready to defend their home. And while the aliens had superior technology, humans had something stronger: resilience. As the dust settled at dawn, the first day of the battle came to an end. Humans had suffered losses, but they had also shown remarkable strength. The Kalthorians were stunned. They had underestimated the spirit of humanity, and now they would pay the price for their arrogance. Dr. Chen and her team gathered to discuss their next steps. "We need to keep fighting," she said, her eyes filled with determination. "This is just the beginning. We will not stop until we've secured our home." The battle against the Kalthorians had begun, and humanity was ready to face the challenge head-on, armed with creativity, intelligence, and an unyielding spirit. The aliens may have come seeking to conquer, but they would soon learn that Earth was a place where fear did not rule, only courage did. The human spirit. As dawn broke over the battle-scarred landscape, the air was thick with smoke and uncertainty. The Kalthorian ships still hovered ominously in the sky, their dark forms casting long shadows over the cities below. Humanity had taken a stand, but the fight was far from over. In the command center, Dr. Ava Chen and General Marks reviewed the night's events. "We lost some good people, but we also showed them that we will not back down," General Marks said, his voice firm but tired. Dr. Chen nodded, her heart heavy with the weight of loss. But beneath the sadness, there was also a flicker of hope. They had demonstrated their strength, and now they had to build on that momentum. "Let's analyze the data from last night," Dr. Chen suggested, her mind racing with ideas. "We need to understand their tactics. If we can predict their next move, we can strike harder." The team sprang into action, poring over footage of the battle and studying the patterns of the Kalthorian attacks. Each small detail was crucial. Meanwhile, across the city, families gathered in their homes, scared but determined. People spoke of courage, of standing together against the invaders. "We are not alone," one father told his children. "We are a part of something bigger. We are fighting for our future." His words spread like wildfire, igniting a sense of unity among the frightened citizens. In the streets, volunteers stepped up to help. Some gathered supplies for the soldiers, while others set up makeshift shelters for those displaced by the fighting. Local businesses transformed into hubs for support, offering food, clothing, and medical aid to those in need. The spirit of humanity was alive, beating strong against the dark clouds of despair. As the day wore on, the Kalthorian ships launched another wave of attacks. The aliens were relentless, but so were the humans. Dr. Chen's drones soared through the skies, engaging the enemy in fierce dogfights. They darted and weaved, using every ounce of agility to evade the Kalthorian fire. The scientists had fine-tuned their technology overnight, improving their chances against the alien fleet. In a nearby control room, a young technician named Sam monitored the drone's feeds. "They're using the new formation," he shouted. "We need to adjust our strategy." His voice cut through the chaos, and the team quickly adapted, implementing his recommendations. They learned to expect the unexpected, proving that humans could adapt and thrive even in the face of adversity. The world watched in awe as the battle continued to unfold. News reports highlighted the resilience of humanity. People across the globe cheered for their defenders. "We are not just fighting for ourselves, but for everyone," one reporter said, capturing the unity of the moment. The alien threat had sparked a fire in humanity's heart, and they were determined to protect their home. As night fell once more, the second day of battle began. The skies were filled with drones and Kalphorian ships, but humanity stood firm. "We can't let them take our planet," General Marks said, his voice booming through the command center. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for every child, every family, and every dream." On the ground, soldiers prepared for another wave of combat. They strapped on their gear, faces set with determination. "Let's show them what we're made of," one soldier yelled, and the others echoed his rallying cry. The strength of humanity was found not just in technology, but in their indomitable spirit. They were ready to face whatever came next. Dr. Chen led a small group of scientists to develop a new weapon, a device designed to disrupt the Kalphorian ship systems. "This could give us the upper hand," she explained as they worked tirelessly. Each member of the team understood the stakes. Failure was not an option. If we can disable their ships, we can turn the tide of this battle. With each passing hour, the conflict grew fiercer. The Kalphorian fleet, frustrated by humanity's unexpected resistance, intensified their attacks. They unleashed devastating strikes on major cities, causing widespread panic. But amidst the chaos, stories of heroism emerged. People rescued their neighbors, sharing food and shelter. In the face of destruction, they found strength in community. Back at the command center, the team received word that a large Kalphorian ship was approaching. This was their chance to test their new weapon. "Prepare the disruption device," Dr. Chen ordered. The tension in the room was palpable as everyone awaited the signal. The time had come to strike back at the heart of the Kalphorian threat. As the enemy ship neared, the team activated the device. A pulse of energy radiated outward, striking the Kalphorian vessel. For a moment, it seemed as if nothing would happen. But then, the ship shuddered and began to lose altitude. Cheers erupted in the command center as the team watched the ship spiral out of control. Humanity had scored a significant victory. "Keep it going," General Marks urged. "Let's capitalize on this." The team quickly relayed the information to the soldiers on the ground, who rallied to attack the now vulnerable ship. The Kalphorian crew, caught off guard, scrambled to regain control. The ground troops moved in with renewed vigor, each soldier fighting with the knowledge that their efforts were making a difference. "For Earth," they shouted as they pushed forward, their hearts filled with determination. The battle was turning. As night settled over the horizon, the Kalphorian ships began to retreat. They had underestimated humanity's will to fight back. News of the victory spread, bringing hope to those who had feared the worst. People gathered in the streets, cheering and celebrating their bravery. Dr. Chen and General Marks stood together, watching the people outside the command center. "We've only just begun," she said, her eyes shining with hope. "But today, we showed them that humanity is not to be underestimated." The tide of battle was shifting, and the human spirit was rising stronger than ever. With each challenge, they proved that they would stand firm against any threat, united in their fight for survival. The turning tide. The morning sun crested over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the war-torn cities below. Humanity had tasted victory, and with it came a newfound determination. The news of their success against the Kalphorian ship spread like wildfire across the globe, igniting hope in the hearts of millions. General Marks and Dr. Ava Chen gathered their teams at the command center to strategize their next moves. "Now that we've gained the upper hand, we need to capitalize on this momentum," General Marks said, pacing the room. His eyes scanned the faces of his team, all filled with the same fire that had fueled their victory. "We need to strike while they're vulnerable. They'll be expecting us to be on the defensive." Dr. Chen nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "We can use the information we gathered from the Kalphorian ship systems. If we can replicate their technology, we might turn their own weapons against them." Excitement rippled through the room at her suggestion. They had learned to adapt quickly, and now it was time to innovate. Meanwhile, in the streets, The atmosphere was electric. People had begun to organize into volunteer groups, offering support for the soldiers and their families. Makeshift community centers buzzed with activity as individuals gathered to share stories, plan their next steps, and foster a sense of unity. "We're all in this together," a local leader declared, rallying the citizens. "We will not be broken." As the day unfolded, Dr. Chen and her team worked tirelessly, dissecting the captured technology. Screens filled with data as they examined every detail. Sam, the young technician, tapped away at the keyboard, translating complex alien codes into something their own systems could understand. "I think I've found a way to modify our defense shields," he said, excitement lacing his voice. "If we can adapt this alien tech, we could enhance our protection during the next battle." "Great work, Sam," Dr. Chen replied, her eyes brightening with hope. "Let's integrate it into our systems immediately." Outside, the community's spirit swelled as local artists painted murals and posters depicting their victory. Children drew colorful pictures of brave soldiers fighting off the alien invaders, filling the walls with optimism. In homes, families shared meals and stories of courage, reinforcing the belief that they could overcome the odds. As night fell, the command center buzzed with energy. The team had successfully modified their systems and was ready to face the Kalthorian threat again. General Marks looked over the assembled soldiers, determination shining in their eyes. "This is our moment. We're going to show the Kalthorians that humanity stands united. We will defend our home." With hearts racing, the soldiers boarded their ships, ready to launch into the skies. Dr. Chen's modified drones took flight alongside them, glinting in the moonlight. The team had created a powerful new fleet, equipped with advanced technology that could turn the tide of the war. As they approached the designated battle zone, tension filled the air. "Stay alert," General Marks ordered, his voice steady over the comms. "We know they will come at us hard, but we're ready for them." Sure enough, the Kalthorian ships appeared on the horizon, their dark forms blotting out the stars. But this time, the humans were prepared. Dr. Chen activated the modified shields, and a vibrant energy enveloped their fleet. The Kalthorian ships unleashed a barrage of laser fire, but the humans held their ground, the shields absorbing the impact. "Now," General Marks shouted, and the fleet responded in unison. The drones zipped through the air, their new weapon systems humming with power. They unleashed their fire upon the Kalthorian ships, striking true and forcing the invaders to retreat. On the ground, families watched from their homes, cheering as they saw the spectacle of battle unfold in the skies. People gathered in groups, holding hands and shouting encouragement. "We can do this. We're winning," a mother exclaimed, her children wide-eyed with awe. The tide of the battle shifted in humanity's favor as they pressed the attack. Each successful strike against the Kalthorian ships filled the soldiers with determination. Dr. Chen monitored the drones from the command center, her heart racing as she witnessed the unfolding victory. "Keep it going. We can't let them regroup," she urged, her fingers flying over the controls. The team remained focused, directing their fleet with precision and skill. The Kalthorian ships, once so intimidating, now seemed to falter under the pressure. But just as hope surged, a massive Kalthorian mothership emerged from the shadows, dwarfing the human ships. Its presence sent a chill down everyone's spine. "This isn't good," General Marks muttered, observing the size and firepower of the mothership. "We need to adapt our strategy quickly." Dr. Chen's mind raced with possibilities. "If we can target its engines, we might disable it. We need to coordinate our attacks." She relayed her plan over the comms, directing the drones and human ships toward the massive ship's vulnerable points. With renewed determination, the fleet rallied, focusing their fire on the mothership. The Kalthorian crew scrambled to defend their ship, returning fire with ferocity. But humanity's resilience shone brighter than ever. The combination of their advanced technology and indomitable spirit gave them the edge they needed. The battle raged on, but the tide had undeniably shifted. The humans pushed forward, unrelenting in their pursuit of victory. For Earth, they shouted as they fought against the Calforian might. Families at home cheered their names, knowing that every soldier was fighting for their future. The mothership shook under the weight of the human assault, and with one final push, the Calforian vessel erupted in a blinding explosion. Cheers erupted over the comms as the human fleet watched their enemy fall from the skies. In the streets, celebrations erupted. Humanity had proven itself against the alien threat, showcasing their strength and resilience. As night fell, they looked up to the stars, united in their victory and filled with hope for the future. The human spirit had triumphed once again, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the final preparations took place, Dr. Chen and General Marks reviewed their strategies. "We'll send out our new drones first to gather intel," she suggested. "With their ability to adapt, we can identify Calforian weaknesses." "Good idea," General Marks agreed. "Then we'll launch our full force to strike hard and fast. This time, we'll show them that we won't back down." As the command center filled with the sound of preparing ships and bustling soldiers, a sense of unity enveloped the team. They had come together to face a common threat, drawing strength from their shared purpose. With each passing day, they grew more resilient, more determined. The call to arms had been answered, and humanity was ready to defend its home. With their hearts full of courage, they looked to the stars, ready to confront the Calforian threat once again. The fight for their future had only just begun, and they would not be defeated. Together, they stood strong, united, determined, and ready for battle. The clash of forces. As dawn broke on the day of the confrontation, the skies over Earth shimmered with the metallic glint of ships preparing for battle. In the command center, tension filled the air as soldiers and scientists alike took their positions. General Marks stood at the helm, staring intently at the holographic map of the galaxy displayed before him. "Today, we fight not just for ourselves, but for every human who believes in our strength," he declared, his voice steady and resolute. "We will show the Calforians that humanity is not to be underestimated. Are you ready?" A chorus of affirmations echoed through the room, the soldiers fueled by a mix of adrenaline and hope. Dr. Chen adjusted her glasses and focused on the screens, her heart racing. "Drones are fully operational and ready for launch, General," she reported. "Excellent," he replied. "Let's get to it." As the fleet ascended into the sky, the tension was palpable. Each ship carried the weight of their mission, a promise to defend their home against the Calforian threat. The newly equipped drones took the lead, soaring ahead to gather intelligence on the enemy's formation. The fleet approached the designated battle zone, a desolate stretch of space that had become the site of their impending showdown. General Marks and Dr. Chen monitored the feeds from the drones, observing the Calforian ships that lay in wait, their dark silhouettes stark against the starry backdrop. "There they are," Dr. Chen said, her voice barely above a whisper. The Calforian fleet loomed ominously, far larger than their last encounter. "Prepare for engagement," General Marks commanded. "All ships, assume battle positions." The ships maneuvered into formation, the humans united in their resolve. They had trained for this moment, and they were determined to prove that they were not the easy targets the Calforians had believed them to be. With a sudden burst, the Calforian fleet sprang to life. They unleashed a barrage of weaponry, streaking through space like fiery comets. The humans, well prepared and alert, countered swiftly. "Drones, engage," Dr. Chen shouted. The drones zipped through space, dodging enemy fire and returning fire with newfound precision. Each drone, equipped with Calforian technology, adapted to the enemy's tactics in real time, making them formidable adversaries. Explosions lit up the dark void as Calforian ships began to fall. "Excellent work, team. Keep pushing." General Marks encouraged, adrenaline coursing through him. He watched as the drones took out multiple Calforian vessels, creating openings for the larger ships to advance. But the Calforians were relentless. They regrouped, their tactics shifting as they try to outsmart the humans. "They're adapting to our strategies," Dr. Chen noted, urgency in her voice. "We need to change our approach. Redirect our fire to their command ships," General Marks ordered. "If we take out their leadership, we can turn the tide." The human fleet concentrated their fire on the largest ships, energy beams colliding with the dark hulls of Kalphorian vessels. As explosions erupted, the command ships faltered, their coordination thrown into chaos. "Keep the pressure on. We can't let up now," General Marks urged. The humans pressed forward, launching a relentless attack. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the command center. Multiple enemy reinforcements detected. A technician shouted, "They're sending in their elite fighters." Dr. Chen's heart sank. "This is going to be tough. We need to pull back and regroup," she advised. "We can't risk losing our momentum." "No," General Marks replied, determination in his eyes. "We've come too far. We hold our ground. We fight." A would not back down. The Kalphorian fighters darted through space, engaging the human ships in fierce dogfights. Explosions illuminated the void as ships twisted and turned, each side vying for dominance. General Marks guided his fleet with precision, every command echoing his unyielding spirit. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Chen coordinated with the engineers to deploy specialized EMP bursts from the drones, targeting the Kalphorian systems. The bursts rippled through the enemy ships, disrupting their control and communication. One by one, Kalphorian vessels went dark, drifting aimlessly as the humans seized the advantage. "Now's our chance. Push forward," General Marks roared, his voice filled with determination. The human fleet surged ahead, engaging in close combat with the remaining Kalphorian forces. In the thick of battle, soldiers fought valiantly aboard their ships, driven by the knowledge that their lives and the future of humanity depended on their success. Dr. Chen worked tirelessly, analyzing data and adjusting tactics in real time, ensuring that every ship maximized its potential. As the battle raged on, the humans gained ground. The Kalphorian ships began to falter, and the tide was turning. "We're doing it," Dr. Chen shouted, exhilaration flooding her veins. "We're winning." But just as victory seemed within reach, the Kalphorian commander unleashed a final desperate maneuver. A massive warship, previously hidden in the shadows, emerged, its weapons primed and ready. It unleashed a devastating barrage that caught several human ships off guard. "Brace for impact," General Marks shouted, his heart racing. The screen flashed with warnings as the human fleet scrambled to counter the unexpected assault. Drones flew in to provide cover, but the Kalphorian ship's firepower was overwhelming. In the chaos, several ships began to fall, and the command center fell silent, the weight of the loss palpable. "Hold the line," General Marks urged his troops, fighting against despair. "We cannot let their final stand deter us. We fight for every life lost." With renewed determination, the remaining ships regrouped, rallying behind General Marks' leadership. They pressed forward, their resolve stronger than ever. They would not let the sacrifice of their comrades be in vain. Dr. Chen, her heart racing, activated the emergency protocols, sending out a distress signal to any remaining human forces. "We need backup now," she called out, her voice firm. The humans charged forward, their combined firepower finally overwhelming the Kalphorian warship. As explosions rocked the enemy vessel, the tide of battle shifted, and the humans pressed on. In the final moments of the confrontation, as the Kalphorian warship crumbled, General Marks felt a surge of hope. "We can do this. For Earth, for humanity," he shouted, leading the charge as they closed in for the decisive blow. With one final strike, the Kalphorian warship was destroyed, sending shockwaves throughout the battlefield. The Kalphorian fleet, once confident in their might, began to retreat, their morale shattered. The humans stood strong, victorious against all odds. As the remnants of the Kalphorian fleet fled, Cheers erupted throughout the command center. Humanity had proven its strength once more, facing down a powerful enemy and emerging victorious. The call to arms had united them, and together they had faced the storm. General Marks and Dr. Chen shared a triumphant glance, the weight of their victory resonating deep within them. But they knew the fight was far from over. A new chapter had begun, one where humanity would stand firm against any foe that dared to threaten their existence. They were not just survivors, they were warriors, and the aftermath. The echoes of victory still reverberated throughout the command center as General Marks and Dr. Chen surveyed the damage. Ships that had once soared proudly now drifted in the void, some mere husks of metal, others lost entirely. The sense of triumph was bittersweet, shadowed by the lives they had lost in the battle. General Marks stood at the main console, his gaze fixed on the holographic display. "We need to assess the damage," he said, his voice steady but somber. "Gather the reports from all ships. I want a full account of casualties and remaining forces." Dr. Chen nodded, her heart heavy. She knew how much this battle had cost them. As she began compiling the data, she felt a wave of exhaustion wash over her. The adrenaline of battle was fading, replaced by the harsh reality of their situation. The technicians worked feverishly, relaying information from across the fleet. One by one, reports came in, each more sobering than the last. "General," a voice broke through the din. "We've lost 30% of our fleet, and the casualty numbers are significant." General Marks inhaled sharply, the weight of their losses settling heavily on his shoulders. "We fought hard," he said, trying to find solace in the grim reality. "But we need to honor those who fell today. They fought bravely." Dr. Chen glanced up from her console, her heart aching. "We need to regroup and prepare for what comes next," she added. "The Kalthorians won't take this defeat lightly. They'll be back, and we need to be ready." As the fleet continued to assess their losses and take stock of the remaining ships, Dr. Chen found herself reflecting on the battle. The drones, equipped with Kalthorian technology, had played a pivotal role in their success. It had proven that humanity could adapt and innovate, using the very weapons of their enemy against them. "General, the data shows that our tactics worked better than expected," Dr. Chen said, her voice gaining strength. "We can build on this. We can create new strategies that use what we learned here today." Marks nodded, seeing the fire in her eyes. "You're right. We can't afford to rest on our laurels. We need to analyze everything, every move, every tactic, and prepare for the next encounter." As the hours passed, the command center buzzed with activity. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair damaged ships, while strategists debated the best course of action for the fleet's future. Dr. Chen joined the discussions, offering her insights and ideas, her passion reigniting as she spoke. "Let's not just focus on defense. We can develop an offensive strategy," she suggested, drawing on the lessons learned from their recent battle. "If we can anticipate their moves, we can strike first." General Marks listened intently, nodding along as Dr. Chen laid out her plans. "I like your thinking, Doc. We'll need to test our new tactics in smaller skirmishes before we face them again head-on." Just then, a communication officer entered the room, breathless. "General, we've received a transmission from the Kalthorian fleet," he announced. "They're demanding a meeting to discuss terms." The room fell silent, all eyes turning to General Marks. He weighed the situation carefully. "Terms? After what they've done?" he asked incredulously. "The message states they want to negotiate a ceasefire," the officer replied, his eyes wide with disbelief. "Negotiate?" Dr. Chen echoed, her brow furrowing. "They've underestimated us, but this could be a trap." Marks ran a hand through his hair, the weight of leadership pressing heavily on him. "We need to consider our options. A ceasefire could give us time to regroup and strengthen our position, but we can't let our guard down." "Agreed," Dr. Chen said. "We should send a small delegation, but we need to prepare for anything. Let's not forget what they've done to us." With a nod, General Marks began organizing a team for the meeting, determined to approach this opportunity with caution. "We'll send our best negotiators and keep the fleet on high alert," he instructed. "I don't trust them, but we can't ignore the possibility of gaining an advantage." Days later, the designated representatives boarded a small vessel, ready to meet the Kalthorian commanders. As they departed, Dr. Chen felt a mix of hope and dread. She had seen the destruction wrought by the Kalthorians, and she knew they could not be taken lightly. Meanwhile, the rest of the fleet continued its work, repairing ships and strategizing for future engagements. Tension hung in the air, but determination filled every crew member. They had fought hard for their survival, and the spirit of humanity shone brightly in the face of adversity. As the meeting commenced, General Marks and his team sat across from the Kalthorian leaders, who were cloaked in an aura of arrogance. The atmosphere was charged, both sides eyeing each other warily. "What do you want?" General Marks demanded, his voice firm. The Kalthorian commander leaned forward, a smirk playing on his lips. "You humans have shown surprising resilience. We wish to discuss a truce. Our resources are depleting, and we seek to avoid further conflict." "Conflict that you initiated," Marks shot back. "Why should we trust you?" The Kalthorian commander waved a hand dismissively. "We have much to gain by ending this war. You've proven yourselves formidable. We are willing to negotiate terms that benefit both sides." "Terms?" Dr. Chen interjected. "And what exactly do you propose?" The discussion continued, each side carefully negotiating. As they spoke, Dr. Chen glanced at General Marks, her heart racing. She knew the stakes were high. They had fought for their survival, but could they trust the Kalthorians to honor any agreements? Back at the command center, the crew awaited news anxiously. The tension was palpable as they monitored the situation. Dr. Chen's thoughts raced as she considered the implications of this potential truce. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the delegation returned. General Marks stepped forward, his face a mixture of resolve and caution. "We've secured a ceasefire for now," he announced, "but we need to remain vigilant. This is not the end." The crew erupted in a mixture of relief and determination. They had gained a reprieve, but the fight for their future was far from over. Together, they would navigate the uncertain waters ahead, ready to stand united against any threat. In the days that followed, humanity would prepare for whatever came next. They had faced the Kalthorians and survived, and they would do so again if necessary. Their resolve was stronger than ever, and they would not back down. The future of humanity rested in their hands, and they would rise to the challenge.